For all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant the Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant the Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant the Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to chant the Lara Dharma for all bewildered mysteries glow. Okay, thank you. It said in the auspiciousnesses at the end, the dedicating the merits properly, which means that this program, the last 10 days, in our own the efforts, we put attempt to learn about the four seals, Buddha nature, how to awaken this Buddha nature with the wisdom of emptiness, and what this wisdom is, emptiness is like, and how to drive this wisdom emptiness towards Buddhahood by the motivation Bodhicitta, and then Bodhicitta supported by great compassion, and then the great compassion directed towards outside. For this, we have experience of what the miseries is like related to yourself, the self, and then renunciation. Within a short span of time, we learned a lot, and no doubt that yes, I can see that the last 10 days, the enthusiasm and the interest really is the vibrating. I really appreciate it. And the now end is again just dedicate the merits that's scattered. Just feel the joy over having successfully completed this, that no one really went through a deep, they say, the physical pain, mental pain, and so forth. So that is an indication of a merit, and it's not that easy to do these programs, particularly something which is very comprehensive, that too within a short span of time. It requires a lot of merit, and no doubt that that it is the merit accumulation that things went so well, and particularly those people who come in the mornings. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, and you made it, and nobody is forcing you. It's all out of your enthusiasm that you are coming, and this is itself a clear indication of a very strong karmic connection with the Dharma, so precious. And whatever little that we have learned in the mornings, we make it a point that there is something to take away when you leave this retreat place, and then whatever we did, not to just give a complete hold, but to take away some part of this, to include this in your daily practice. That would be wonderful. And yes, I also try to come in the morning to accompany you, to just to tell you what to be done in your daily practice. So what are we doing in the morning? It is not necessary that you have to do complete, but you can do a part of it. There are 3 versions which I designed, and the longer version, which we do in the mornings. And if you include the 2 Bodhicitta methods in there, it'll take about like 1 hour, in some cases 1.5 hours. And if you do it more elaborately, it'll take like 2 hours. And in some cases, I don't really have this much time because I have to go work, early morning I have to go, coming back tired. So what should I do? I do it in like 2 hours. And half an hour, the middle length daily practice, half an hour practice also designed. And then then if you say, no, even I have a half an hour, I don't have. I have only 10 minutes maximum, right? Then there's a 10-minute version also. We designed it, and the shorter version. So 3 versions given there, and the point is that whatever we are doing here is already contained in all these 3 versions, and you can do that whenever you get more free time. You can do the more detailed version. If you see that you are really very tired, sometimes I really empathize with people who have to leave for work early morning, like 6 o'clock. Then how can you expect the person to do the practice in the morning? Then coming back, you're already very tired. So when I personally, when I do these teachings, even in Tibet House, there are so many the word conferences, meetings, and then the one-on-one meeting, then the teachings, preparing for the teachings, office work, and so forth. Coming back home, very tired. I couldn't do anything. So I take a nap for like 1 or 2 hours. And sometimes 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., I get up and then I do my practice. So when you're tired, you can't do anything. Just reciting is okay, but meditation, you cannot meditate. So you need a fresh mind. I really understand it. So because of which, there are 3 versions there. Sheribama, do you have the 3 versions? Yeah, Sheribama has all the 3 versions there. No, Sheribama, you keep it. And then the people who are interested, right? And then you can check with Sherry Pema. She will give you you can make a photocopy of this, or you have a soft copy of this, or a soft copy. So she can also send you soft copies, right? So you can see that I don't have even 10 minutes or even 5 minutes I don't have. What do you do? Then sorry. Right? Okay. Okay, so this is what we need to think of doing, and that too is not for anything else. For you, eventually 5 years will go by, 10 years, 20 years, and what is left there? If you end up that, no, I just miss my youth, then too late. I miss my youth, which means that you have used the last 20 years wasted. So whereas if you do it continuously like this, you may not see the benefit right there in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. But for sure, if you continue with this practice, and the end of course, it's not that easy. Keep in mind the Sangha, the fencing. Stay away from the bad companions. This is very important. With the bad companions, even if you are so rigorous, so intense, you just, wow, this is amazing. The moment you are with the bad companions, instantly all this will disappear from your memory. And then you may tell something to your friend, oh, beautiful time in Tushita, yeah, and then cheers and drinking, and then finish. So the point is that make sure that you at least grab 1 or 2 good friends, 2, 3 good friends from this group, and try to communicate with them. The more you communicate with them, then you see that your mind will not really get time to get engrossed with the bad companions. And the bad companions, they can feel that usually we used to have exchange very easily. Now what happens? Only when I send a message, I get a reply. Otherwise, I don't get any message from him. From his or her own initiative is not coming, right? Then they will sense that you are more into another area. Then either they will change, or they will see that, okay, now there's no point in disturbing him. He or she is into a different world. In a way, this is great blessing for you. And you can also later on help that person, because they can see that you're transformed, you're a happy person. And then you don't tend to miss your youth. They tend to miss the youth. So the difference there. And they will turn towards you. Oftentimes, this is how many people are connected to Dharma. Because you are changed, they see that you are changed, and then gradually, when they see that their time is wasted, they turn towards you. They don't turn towards, big lamas, teachers, or whatever. They turn to you, and then you teach something, and then they turn towards the Buddhist teachings, which are good. Setting proper motivation has 3 points. refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purposes practice. Okay, now this is the last session for all of us together for this retreat, and later we never know, we can meet even more in the future. But for this session, for this retreat, this is the last day. Let's make it. Let us make the most of this. Visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us, are so loving, caring, and embracing. And for the Bodhicitta field, visualize your two grandparents, all the children, their family members, all the human beings, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, health beings, god and goddesses, spirits, here in Tushita, in India, in your own country, in the world, in the entire universe. And here, you are like the mother and all others are like children. And imagine that you're looking in the eyes of each of these the beings with so much love and affection, to the extent that each one of them feels himself as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this practice, is to awaken your Buddha nature, ultimate treasure happiness within you, by removing the mental dirt. And the mental dirt is of two kinds: the afflictive obscurations and the cognitive obscurations. And these two are to be eradicated by the very powerful remedy, which is the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness must be driven by a very powerful motivation, that is Bodhicitta. And this Bodhicitta, to what extent this Bodhicitta is of power and momentum, is determined by great compassion. And this great compassion is determined by the intensity of your own awareness of your suffering, and then the corresponding renunciation. So with the desire to awaken the seed of Buddha energy within you, that you attain the infinite, the total fearlessness and the infinite happiness for yourself and for all beings, let us do this practice. Page 3. And I will recite this. There are 3 ways of reciting these verses. One where the words flow. Only the words flow without the meanings and the experiences invoked. Second, the words flow and the meanings reflected. Third, where the words flow, meanings reflected, and the experiences invoked. And of course, for the third one, for the experience to be invoked, we require, say, the consistent practice, but we can do the second version, where the words flow and the meanings reflected. And over time, they expect that all of us to include the experiences also to be invoked through our concerted effort and practice. Okay, and imagine all beings joining you and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are watching us. And seized by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And seized by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And seized by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Badu Dane Yapsu Age Jinsu Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjire Sanje Ubare Shum Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Badu Dane Yapsu Age Jinsu Gebe Sonam Ge Chola Benjire Sanje Ubare Shum Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam La Chanju Bardo Dane Yapsu Ji Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Gi Chola Benjire Sanje Ubare Shum independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. A prostrate to the Supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, reaches free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the heroes, the bodhisattvas, and the Buddhas, which through the knowledge of all leads here is sick and pacific, is the complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths, courses of helping migrate to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue us expand a variety of teachings. The one who is transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector to you amid prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines for the forever noble light rays to you, the Buddha, amid prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. 2, 1, 2. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such as nectar dharma I have discovered. Finding no one to fathom this teaching in silence, I'll return to words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is a perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It's the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, or 3 times, are the obeisance. The 4 C's of Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. You beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove the miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you attach to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you attach to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you attach to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14, the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, one gone beyond the four destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pace our sense strides, then set them supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With your bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, one of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science face like a spotless moon, color like gold to your prostrate. Thus free like you through three worlds are not, incompatible wise one to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion. Vast ocean, to you that the Tathagata I prostrate, the purity that frees from attachment, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies or prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, wholly feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to moral precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the Chitta Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through this marriage, may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing. Subdue the four faults and be delivered from the samsara's ocean, but hurt by the waves of aging, sickness, death. Heart Sutra, page 29. The Heart Sutra, Perfectional Wisdom Sutra, I prostrate to the Arya Triple Gem. And thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on the mass of Alchas mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also, at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as empty of inner nature. Then, through about the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseen, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no phenomenon. Okay, just 1 minute, just 1 minute, just 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. Here, as we read this, just see that in your own meditation emptiness, like a flower, your subject of flower ultimate analysis, what happens to the flower? Flower is nowhere to be seen, it disappears. So when it disappears, it's not that you are inventing it, you are discovering it, that the flower does not exist objectively. And just like this, when you look at just normally, you see that it's objectively there. In this analysis, the flower disappears. What we see normally and what you discover is these two, there's a discrepancy there. There's a discrepancy, which means that what is seeing is deceptive. And this whatever little that you have understood of the flower, the self, the table, your friend, and so forth, not being intrinsically real, not objectively real. So when you read these, there's no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors. When you do it on your own, no need to rush through. Just do it very gradually. No form is empty. Empty is a form. Form, the empty is not other than form. Form is also not emptiness. Likewise, the feeling, discrimination. See that feeling is also just coming from your mind. From the object is empty. Discrimination, composite factors, consciousness empty. So this is how when we read this, just by instead of reading so fast, okay, in group we can't really There's no choice, but when you're on your own, read this with this reflection. That'll be wonderful. Good. Okay. You continue reading this. There's no I, though there's no I element, and so on up to and including no mind element, no mental conscience element. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on up to and including no aging in death, and no extinction of aging in death. Similarly, there's no suffering, origination, cessation path. There's no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in perfection wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond era, they reach the endpoint of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awaken to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mother of the perfection of wisdom, the mother of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth since it is not false. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is declared, Dhyata Om Gade Gade Para Sam Gade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train the profound perfection of wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from their concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arabalukiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound perfection of wisdom just as you've indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Arabalukiteshvara, those surrounded in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, gandharvas, were overjoyed in highly praise that is spoken by the Buddhas. As we recite this heartfelt mantra, visualize that we are there in Rajgir, particularly the vultures speak, and imagine that the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Arabalukiteshvara, the Shariputra, they were all there, and you are just in the front row with your two parents, with the children, with the family members, and all sentient beings are there. All the bodhisattvas also there, all the monks, nuns, all devotees are there. And imagine that the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us, don't remain in the fears of samsara. Come towards ultimate happiness. Awaken your Buddha nature and awaken the treasure inside and have the experience total fearlessness and infinite happiness. And you hearing what the Buddha Shakyamuni is teaching us or exhorting, you're so inspired, you inform this to all the dear sentient beings. Look, this is what a very compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in tears anymore. And everybody hearing what you're saying, they're so inspired to join you in this journey of cleansing the mind to unravel their own Buddha nature within. Dhyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha 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 by the teaching of three supreme jewels, precise and power of truth. May inner and outer hindrance be transformed. May they be dispelled. May they be non-existent. May they be pacified. May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspiciousness of perfect happiness pervade this place now. 8 verses for training the mind, page 35. By Geshe Dorji, with the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my lives, as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've helped or in whom I've placed great hopes mistreats me in extreme hurtful ways, I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that have amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great amount of time, may I become the shield-leading Buddha for all those whose minds were blinded by ignorance. 7 in practice, excerpt from the King of Prayers, an extraordinary expression of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Adam and Yushri. You, the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the past, in the present, past, and future, in the world's 10 directions. To all of you with speech and sincere mind, I bow down, with energy aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms in the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every particle of Buddhas, numberless as particles, each amidst a host of Bodhisattvas. I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and salute all of you Sagathas. Beautiful flowers and regal gardens, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to the victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfume, sandalwood powder heap high as Mount Meru. All wondrous offerings in spectacular array, offered to the victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with a profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done, all this I openly lay bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here are still training in those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds in 10 directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With the palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for thy happiness, well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making of prostrations, offering, and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay and teach, are now dedicated all this for the full awakening of all beings. Mantra offering, page 40. This ground adorned with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with marble, the 4 continents, and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Session-Ven Geshe Dorji Damdul-15Oct2023
Ven Geshe Dorji Damdul-15Oct2023
The fourth Dhamma's Venerable Kambupa. May be blessed that my mind is directed towards Dharma. May be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May be blessed flow of light in light of exalted wisdom. For Dhamma's Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasps the true existence. Please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind so overflows with the precious Bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have make an experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind so overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality, bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Rana Mendela Gamnerateyami. The foundation of all good qualities, next page 42, by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind of perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtuous karma follow. Finding a firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativity, and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is a door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Let otherwise pure thought, mindfulness, and alertness, great question arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the Pradimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I fall into the sea of samsara, so follow my migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I develop Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the Bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of come abiding special inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the true attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, protect these vows and bless my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and spiritual friends who practice their long lives, please bless me to pacify completely while under inner hindrances. In normal lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the seasonal path, equality in the state of Vajratara. Yaravadaguteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, a Manjushri master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage of the land of the snows, no Santa by your feet among prestations. Kanjen kebe tsoge tsongkaba lo
Tabe Shabla Sovane Kanchen kebe tso ge tso kaba lo sa tabe shabla so vade Kanjen kebe tso ge tso kaba lo sa tabe shabla so vane. Yorubadukutishvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, a Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, disturb hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sage of the land of snows, Losanta by your feet among prostrations. Next gen with the mind of consummate yoga, Tamje Neju Semkepa, the actual practice, the four practices to include, and then incorporating the Bodhichitta vow. Okay. 5 minutes breathing meditation. The most important thing to keep in mind is that when your mind in meditation see the qualities built. That is, we have to identify the mistakes that we can make during the meditation. Twofold. What are they? Mistakes. Mental excitement. Thank you. And then how to overcome these two? Again, two remedies. What two remedies? Introspection and mindfulness. Very good. Okay. 5 minutes. Ready? Our next renunciation on the basis of the four seals. What will you do? On your own or guided? On your own. That's good. Why? So today is on your own.
Okay. Oh, what about this group? They're all on their own now. Yeah. Huh? Got it. She's good. Okay. Okay, then we do that. Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce the miseries. To renounce the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. For the reason that the wisest approach to track the causes and abandon causes, as indicated by the Buddha, ye dharma hedu prabhava. And the cause of the miseries the Buddha identified: contaminated karmas, afflictions, inappropriate tension, and self-grasping ignorance. At the root is the ignorance. And the ignorance, again, is many layers. And Buddha identified 4 layers which are directly impacting our emotions. And they are misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent, misconceiving impure things as pure, misconceiving suffering as happiness, misconceiving selfless nature of selfhood nature. To eradicate these 4 levels of ignorance, the Buddha taught the 4 wisdoms in the form of 4 seals. The first, all composite things impermanent. Composite things which are composed of directional parts related to the physical matter, composed of temporal parts related to all the impermanent phenomena, including mind. So all composite phenomena should necessarily be composed of either material compositions or the temporal parts. So what is composed of these should necessarily be of the nature of impermanence. And impermanence is of 2 kinds: gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross one, the impermanence whose continuum comes to an end. Subtle impermanence, the momentary nature of all the impermanent phenomena. First, gross is so important for us to meditate on gross impermanence. This will give us a sense of emergency, sense of urgency, and then going to the deeper sense of self-impermanence will take us to have a very stable journey into the Dharma, never relapsing to our mundane existence. The gross impermanence constituting of the sickness, aging, death, and so forth, and particularly the impermanence of death, that no doubt a day will come when we will leave the world. And we have seen your near and dear ones, your friends, other people leaving this world. And the people 200 years ago, as young as you are, some older, some younger, where are they now? They're all gone. Or now, oftentimes, with the natural disaster, seeing the whole town, the whole village the next day wiped out, as though like nothing was existent the day before. In actuality, the day before, the whole village was so lively, the town was lively. And look at the abandoned towns. You can't believe it. Abandoned house is all right, but an abandoned town, the whole town is empty. People have abandoned it. Just look at it, this impermanence. It's for this reason that the Buddha, seeing the reality from a very broad perspective, the Buddha taught what accumulates gets exhausted. What stands falls. What is gathered will disperse. What is born will die. And what stands will fall. This is impermanence. Yes. And a day will be there that not only each one of us, but 200 years later, 150 years later, not even a single person out of these 8 billion human beings will be alive then. This is a reality. So keeping this in mind, the wise people seeing that far,
they plan from right now to become the Dharma practitioner. Dharma practitioner, those who can think of beyond what is today, to think of next life. These are the wise people. And this empowerment that you can see should necessarily be involving these momentariness involved. For example, that the change that you see in the world today is all because of the last 0.3 million years of evolution. And that too because of the 4 billion years of the unicellular organism evolving into this very complex human existence. That too go traceable back to 15 billion years when the universe had the Big Bang. And before that, we can also track, as Professor Dorji Damdul said, we can track not only a single Big Bang, but multi Big Bangs. Big Bang, Big Crunch, Big Bang, Big Crunch. So think of this as impermanent. So from that broad perspective in time and space, what are we experiencing today is like a tiny speck of dust, so insignificant. But the wise people can, this insignificant time in space, from this wise people can take a great essence and meaning out of this. So for this, we come to know only by realizing the reality, then we can extract the meaning. So this impermanence, subtle impermanence connotes the change that you see within the span of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years is because of the change that you see on a daily basis. Given that you are, if thrown into a very fast-moving train, it gives you so much of fear. Why? Because faster the train moves, the more the fear. We don't know where this train is taking us. And if the train driver is your mother or father, no doubt it'll take you to a picnic spot. But if it is a terrorist or the train driver is under the dictator of the terrorist, no doubt it'll take us to the slaughterhouse. In that case, while our bodies move so fast, our mind is moving so fast, our whole existence moves so fast. Your husband, wife, children, parents have moved so fast towards death. Like the new car that you bought, new house, they also move so fast toward the total, the destruction, total impermanence. Yes. So in that case, this fast-moving body, speech, mind is all governed by the mind as the driver, and the mind is under the dictate of the worst of contamination, self-grasping ignorance, complemented by the self-centered attitude. That's true. So this will, as long as this is what happens with the mind, it will invariably take us to the miseries. This is what the Buddha indicated as the second seal. All contaminated things of suffering nature. Suffering like what? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, and anguish. All in all is the suffering, which is so painful to experience. Nobody likes it. Suffering change, the bait, the deceit, who makes us continuously shed tears in samsara because we're deceived by the bait like suffering change and pervasive conditioned suffering, which is the mastermind, making sure that we are trapped in samsara, making sure that we operate in such a painful way in samsara endlessly. So reflect on this. One moment of such a tragedy of miseries is good enough to nullify all the past moments of wonders, joys, merriments, festivities, celebrations, birthday parties, picnics, and so forth. This all one moment of such tragedy, lose of the losing the pain, losing near and dear ones, is good enough to nullify all these past experiences that seem so shallow, hollow, meaningless, gloomy, and so childish. This is what the Buddha indicated, that all contaminated things are suffering nature. Yes, that's true. When will these stop? When will I can have my tears being stopped? 2022, it stopped on its own. your youth stop on its own? When will these tears stop? They will never stop unless until you're wise enough to identify the root of the cause and abandon them. How to abandon the root cause? And the root cause lies in ignorance. What is ignorance? Ignorance is the the mind, whose misconceiving mind or deceptive mind, whose perception of the object does not tally with the reality. So, how to get rid of this? By introducing a counter force. What is that? And just as the light is required to exterminate the darkness, it is only through the light of the introducing light of the wisdom that the darkness of ignorance can be eradicated. What is this wisdom? Wisdom, by the very definition, is a discerning mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with the reality. What is the reality? Reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal, that everything is nature, emptiness, selflessness. Okay, let's quickly meditate on emptiness. Today we'll meditate on emptiness of yourself. Yourself, the one who's always involved with all the problems. I have this problem, I have that problem, my neighbor, the weather, the food is not good, this is not good, my children, my parents, the husband, my wife, and all these complaints related to I. So if you see the emptiness of this self, those two hands, one is gone, the sound of misery stops. This is another wise way of doing that. Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. How does the self appear to you? Like a dream projected by your mind? Or it appears so objectified, so solidified there? Yes, of course, it's so solidified, so objectified there. If you identified that so well in contrary to how actually it exists as a dream, if you identify that it appears so solid there, this is the first essential identifying the object negation. This to be negated, believing this to be existent, is known as self-grasping ignorance. This root of all the miseries, all the tears. Yes, how to get rid of this misperception? Okay, if this person who you identified as I would exist objectively, remember what Arjuna taught. If the mirage would be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Likewise, with the same token of reasoning, if this self were to exist objectively, why don't I see the self as I go closer to the object? Okay, now let us go closer to the object to see if this self does exist as intrinsically real, as objectified there. Subjecting this self, and the going closer to this self, towards the object, is known as the ultimate. The mind which does it is known as ultimate analysis. In technical terms, we call it that the self is subjected to ultimate analysis. Subjecting self to ultimate analysis, whatever is not the self in the process of your analysis, just ignore them, because you are interested only to see if there's objectively existing self or intrinsically existing self. Or you're going there, first you see a thin layer of the skin. Of course, ignore that this is not the self that you're looking for. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages, the whole skeleton. Heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, intestine, stomach, gallbladder. None of these constitute the solid parts. Solid parts constitute element earth, and none of the element earth is to be identified as intrinsically as the objective as the self. If you understood this, you understood second essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being different from intrinsically different from its parts. Intrinsically one with its parts. Now, if none of these, element earth, then you go to element water, 4 liters of blood. That's also not me. Element fire, 2,600 joules of energy that your body has, is also not self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Element space, vacuum in nature. Element of consciousness, I'm a male, I'm a female, and I have this gender, but my mind is not the gender, and people can also see me. People cannot see my mind. Even the element of consciousness is also not me. Now you are too close to object in eyes of ultimate analysis, and you at all, if there is something there, you will see the 6 elements. Now tell me, which of the 6 elements is this self? None. So there's nothing to identify 6 elements from the object to be identified as the self. If you're sure of this, you identify you got this second essential to understand the emptiness of objects being intrinsically one with its parts. If the 6 elements are not to be identified as the self, then see if the self can be identified as intrinsically different from its parts. Remove the parts, remove the 6 elements. What do you see? Nothing is left there. If nothing's left there, which means that if you're very sure of this, in a way you are seeing the self to be empty of being intrinsically different from its parts. That's the 3rd essential. With this, you get a conviction that where the self assumes that it's intrinsic one or intrinsic different, then from the object there's nothing but there should be nothing to be identified as this self objectively. Yes. If you're sure of this, this is the 4th essential of understanding the provision that anything which is empty of intrinsically one or intrinsically different from its parts entails emptiness of the objective existence of the object. Okay, now in our ultimate analysis, where is this self as object? Where is it? No way to be seen. And this is not what I'm inventing. This is what I'm discovering. A tinge of fear come in your mind. A tickling sensation you may have a tickling sensation in your body. Cold waves can flow through your body, bodily skins. A very profound experience of bliss, tranquility can come to your mind, at the core of your heart. If any of these experiences comes to you, you're very fortunate. If not, don't worry. It's just indicating that we need to go for more extensive studies to reflect meditation emptiness, and gradually, eventually you will experience this. This is the wise people's approach. Oh, you God. It's very profound. But what's the benefit of this practice? Yes, just as this self dissolves in emptiness, and then this tinge of fear over time will be replaced by profound joy, profound tranquility, profound peace. Likewise, you substitute all the miseries that you go through, the sorrows that you go through, mental disturbance that you go through, sickness, aging, death, and so forth you go through, subject them to ultimate analysis. They're just like dream, they disappear. You get a very profound experience of emptiness, where all these conventionalities will dissolve. Sorrows dissolve. You transcend sorrow. Transcending sorrow, extremely profound feeling of bliss and lightness in your mind. The peace dawns in you. This is what the Buddha indicated as the 4th seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Wow, this is amazing. And this experience is possible with the experience of emptiness. Now generate a very strong aspiration, which the renunciation, which is well defined in this their statement and experience. May I experience this emptiness where all my miseries are transcended, where all my miseries dissolve and transcended, that I experience the incredibly profound feeling of the lightness and peace within me, since experience of the aspiration. That aspiration is the most refined understanding of renunciation. Okay, slowly come out of this practice. Take a few seconds gap before we go for the next bodhicitta. Are you ready? Okay, bodhicitta, we will do the second method.
method of equalizing exchange of self for others. Since we already completed it, we'll do it today. Yeah. Are you ready? And let us reinforce visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us. They're so loving, caring, embracing. And they're so happy to see that you're going to meditate in Bodhicitta. Not just for immeasurables. Yes, of course, if possible. But the time permits. Sorry. The first we do the four immeasurables, then followed by the Bodhicitta. But due to constraint of time, we'll do the Bodhicitta directly. And later on your own, when you're by yourself, on your own, you can do the four immeasurables followed by the Bodhicitta. And also visualize your two grandparents, all the family members, including children, and all sentient beings, human beings, insects, animals, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddess spirits, here in Tushita, in India, in the world, in your own country, in the world, in the entire universe. Okay, and for them, you are going to generate bodhicitta. And imagine that you inspired them, they also join you. And particularly, as the say, to repay the kindness of your parents, you, even though some of them must have passed away, you can still remember them and imagine that they are joining you, your parents, your children, all the family members. They're so dependent on you, and you also inspire them to be with you. And all the sentient beings, you inspired them to practice with you. This is amazing. Okay. The first, equalizing self and others. We're all equal in wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. There's no reason why I should be feeling myself as more important than others. Yes, I agree. And also that the prince is considered so important because that he's going to become the king eventually. If this were the case, who's more important, becoming king or becoming Buddha? Of course, there's no comparison. Becoming Buddha is far, far, far more important, more beneficial, more significant than somebody becoming king. And then you are going to become Buddha. And all the sentient beings have the potential to become Buddha. In other words, we all have the Buddha nature. That's true. That's true. So from this, there's no reason by which I should see myself as more important than others. We're all equal. All sentient beings equally, they're all equal in having the right to desire for happiness and not wanting suffering. And they're all equal in having the potential to attain the highest enlightenment, the highest state of happiness, fearlessness. Yes, we're all equal. That's true. Even when we feel that we're all equal in a true sense of the word, when you feel that we're all equal, your mind will find calmness. It's beautiful. Self-centered energy is suppressed, subdued, and you feel the calmness. That's amazing. Next, reflect on the demerits of cherishing oneself. All our miseries are because of the rooted to self-centered attitude. All the miseries, they are like the pain, the pain that we experience because of the arrows being shot. And the arrow of the negative karmas, they're being shot by the self-centered attitude. Arrow created by the self-grasping ignorance and the shot by self-centered attitude. Look, this is how the self-centered is so vicious. And then when it actually hits you, again, you don't have the armor. The shield was missing. The shield of Bodhicitta is missing. Shield of self, wisdom of family is missing. And who made you not have these shields? Again, the self-centered attitude. They removed these two. It's so evil. So just think of how self-grasp, self-centered attitude has been so evil. In the first place, shooting the arrow of the pains within you. And now, in the final experience of the pains, that the shield to stop these, armor to stop these, if they are removed by the self-centered attitude. This is so, so, so painful. And the pain of losing near dear ones, the pain of you becoming sick, and so forth, is all because of self-centered attitude. and the pain not attaining Buddhahood is all because of the not having the bodhicitta. Why no bodhicitta? Because of self-centered attitude. Long term, short term, all the benefits are being stopped. You are stopped from this experiencing this ultimate benefit, the long-term benefit, short-term benefit, all by self-centered attitude. Is so vicious. So look at the animals in the wilderness, in the forest. Every living creature in the forest have to live in fear. The bigger animals, they fear that the younger ones will eat them up. Other smaller ones will eat you up. In groups, they will come and eat you up. So that even they have to, as far as possible, they have to go in group. Otherwise, they can easily be eaten up by somebody else. And if you're a smaller animal, the bigger animals will eat you up. This is how it's so. All these pains are because of self-centered attitude. This is so vicious. The more we think about this, the more we cherish bodhicitta, the more we cherish the desire to benefit others. In the ocean, just if you take birth there, not even single creature there can live at peace. Everyone had to live in fear, to be consumed, to be eaten up by somebody else. This is enormous the pain that we have to go through, unavoidable pain that we have to go through if you continue to be a servant to a self-centered attitude. Yes, that's true. Thus far, I've been always being guided by the self-centered attitude. Now I'm disillusioned. I'm not going to give in to the self-centered attitude. Yes. Point number 3. Reflect on merits of cherishing others. The more you cherish others, self-centered attitude is gone. You will not accumulate negative karma. Then you don't experience the pains. You're freed from the pains by cherishing others. This is amazing. Look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Look at the Buddha Shakyamuni. Look at all these enlightened beings. Look at Jesus Christ. It's amazing how they're so selfless, how they cherish others. And now remember everybody. So in a family, where there's somebody who is so loving, caring towards others like the mother, the family is very happy. Where there's even one person, family member, very selfish, can destroy the peace of the whole family. It's very true. Reflection on the merits of cherishing others and demerits of cherish oneself. Yes, I've become very convinced that the real demon is not outside, and the real enemy is not outside, is within me, self-centered attitude. Okay. With this conviction, move to step 4 and step 5, that found in practice. Step 4, taking the suffering of others with emphasis on loving, with emphasis on compassion. Okay. We'll do this practice along with the breath, along with the process of breathing. As you breathe in, let's take the first suffering. You can think of any suffering. Somebody who's sick, somebody who's going through cancer, the terminal illness, somebody going through the caves, the poor animals are dying, and the captives of the terrorists in the slaughterhouse. And then they're trapped in natural disasters, wildfire, earthquake, tsunami, landslide, the flood, and so forth. And the domestic violence. Think of these and take the suffering. If possible, think of one particular the situation and they take the suffering. And then all others, you can see that as something alongside, but with a focus on one particular suffering. Okay, take 3 deep breaths. And as you breathe in, they go rush through your nose. All the sufferings in the form of very dirty water, dirty, corrosive water, acidic, corrosive water, gushing through your left nostril, entering through your heart, and eating up the self-centered attitude within, and also eating up your internal organs like the heart and so forth. And then as you breathe out, they fight with the self-centered attitude, eat up these, then slowly they go down your feet, ground, and they go down 3 times. like suffering change in the form of bait, which lures the people and make them continually be trapped in prison and finally to be submitted to execution. It's all because of this, the bait like suffering change, all the mundane happiness in the form of bait 3 times. Next, pervasive conditioned suffering in the form of contaminated karmas and afflictions, and particularly self-grasping ignorance. You take this in the form of very dirty water, acidic, dirty water, gushing through the left nostril in the same process. 3 times. Good. Next, giving happiness with emphasis on loving kindness. Again, as you breathe out, you visualize all your virtues, the good things that you have, given in the form of in 4 ways. First, material resources. Number 2, love and affection. Number 3, protection or fearlessness. Number 4, dharma. So again, one by one, the first one, all your virtues, the good things that we have, they all flow in the form of white nectars and soothing lights through your right nostril. The mere touch with the sentient beings who are deprived of natural resources, they transform into the food, clothing, house, and so all the facilities. And the misery, the pains of poverty is dispelled. They're so happy. They start to raise smiles on their face. Yes, you also feel so happy. Okay, 3 times. Good. Next, giving the loving kindness or affection. Again, the nectars flow to your right nostril. The mere touch transforms into Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and yourself there. And then listening to the grievances of the people who go through depression, anxiety, and so forth, not feeling any love and affection. Now they start to feel the love and affection. Such a healing takes place in the mind. They're elevated from the very stressful, distressing, and depressing mental state. They feel the lightness of the mind 3 times. Okay, good. Now giving the fearlessness or the protection. Again, the light rays and the nectar flow to your right nostril. All the virtues in the form of nectar has white rays through your right nostril and goes through all the beings. And the mere
touch with them, they manifest in the form of yourself there, meeting with the terrorists who are holding the captives, meeting with the cooks and the fast hotel owners, and talking to them, release this fish, the crabs and so forth, meeting with the owner of the KFC, and then the cooks, and also to release all the chickens, poor chickens, the slaughterhouse ornament, and must release, giving them the protection, giving them the fearlessness. 3 times. And you feel joy of seeing that they feel so protected. They feel the fearlessness, meeting with the parents, meeting with the children, so happy. Next, giving Dharma. Dharma 4 kinds. Renunciation, teaching of the renunciation. To teach them how to stop engaging in negative karmas, and eventually the contempt karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance, so that they learn how to stay away from harming others, and then they're freed from the fears of life, the teaching of renunciation. Okay, 3 times. And then the nectars flow, the mere touch transforms into Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and yourself also there. And then giving them teachings on renunciation. 3 times. Feel that everybody is convinced that may I be freed from having to engage negative karmas. May I be freed from having to engage in all the afflictive obscuration, so that I'll be freed from suffering. Everybody feels that wholeheartedly. Next, giving the teaching of Bodhicitta. Again, next flow, transform Bodhisattvas. Giving the teaching of Bodhicitta that you want the maximum happiness, this will be given rise to by Bodhicitta. And then everybody is so convinced that, yes, henceforth I have to practice Bodhicitta. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. 3 times. Feel the joy that everybody is so convinced, so happy to practice bodhicitta, wishing to become Buddhas themselves to benefit all the other sentient beings. And you are so happy to see that the beings are now convinced with the practice of bodhicitta. Now give the wisdom, teaching on the wisdom of emptiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they teach the wisdom of emptiness to materialize the goals of true aspirations. 3 times.
Feel the joy that everyone is now experiencing emptiness where all the fears dissolve. The Buddhahood manifests. Okay, next, giving the teaching on the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Again, the nectars flow, and the mere touch transforms Buddha's bodhisattvas, giving the teaching on how to feel a joy every moment while experiencing emptiness. The joy realizing the emptiness. This will make the journey of enlightenment extremely joyful and extremely beautiful. No hardships involved. 3 times. Feel the joy to see that all the beings are now finding such a joy in undertaking the journey of enlightenment. By feeling this joy experiencing emptiness, the bliss, the union of bliss and emptiness. Wow, that's amazing. Next step, the actual exchange of self with others. Now make a very strong commitment. Given that I've been through the 5 steps, I'm so convinced that cherishing others is the best way by which to be kind to yourself, be wisely kind to yourself, by abandoning the self-centered attitude. Bodhisattva Shantideva taught that what more thing is required to be said? Look at the difference between the Buddhas and the ordinary beings. Buddhas always who always thinks about others. And the ordinary beings who always thinks about themselves. And the ordinary beings, they suffer continuously as a result of that. And the Buddhas, they experience ultimate happiness as a result of cherishing others. Just look at the difference between the two. And giving into a self-centered attitude, we always suffer in samsara. And this samsara is not a good place, it's so painful. Make a very strong commitment, henceforth, I will only cherish others more than myself. So it's a best protection for yourself. 3 times. Just make a very strong commitment in your mind, wholeheartedly. Okay, next, step number 7, special recollection of the kindness of others. From this, we realize that as long as self-centered attitude is there, I will never be happy. And as long as even if I remove the self-centered attitudes to some gross level, anytime these subtle ones can manifest in gross form and again throw me back into acute pains, somehow the root of the cancerous cells must be removed. The root, nothing of the cancerous cells should be left. Nothing of the cancerous self or self-centered should be left. And to identify the subtle self-centered is very difficult. And loved ones, your mother, father, those who love you so much, they can never help you identify these subtle self-centered, the cancerous cells of the self-centered attitude. Without identifying that, there's no way by which you can eradicate them, without which you cannot have the infinite happiness. So, who helps you identify the subtlest of these cancerous cells and thereby give you the happiness? It's the difficult people. Difficult people, they're extremely kind. Think of how difficult people, they're so kind. And also how little beings are so kind to you. The benefit that you get is out the last scale short-term benefits. The final long-term benefit we all get from the
neutral beings and difficult people. Just see how kind they are. Think of them so strongly. First, neutral beings, how they're being so kind. They themselves suffering, but still, because of them, I get the maximum benefit, the large scale short-term benefits. The protection that we get from the borders, all these thousands of soldiers down the borders, we don't know them. In the crowd, that we get the protection that I'm not going to be killed by somebody. Again, because of the crowd, we don't know them. And then we get all the basic facilities, travel and so forth, the road and so forth. There's all because of millions of people's kindness. We don't know them. And that through generation after generation is a cumulative effect, finally the benefit that we get, which even the kings and queens they didn't get. There's all because of neutral beings. Innumerable billions of beings involved over many generations that we got this benefit. These are neutral beings. Just see that your mind flows towards the neutral beings. Your mind feels close to the neutral beings. This affection that you feel towards the neutral beings. And finally, although we get the short-term, the last short-term benefit, but we feel so tired in ways that we have to look for these benefits over and over again. There's no solution, this lasting solution where you get it, then you don't worry at all. This doesn't happen. This happens only when you become a Buddha. And who give you this? The most difficult people if you give it this, because they help you identify the subtleness of self-centered attitude. Eradicating this, identifying the subtleness of the cancerous cells, you eradicate this, you're gone, you're freed from the cancer completely. And this only the difficult people can do. Therefore, the only difficult people can give us the ultimate, lasting, the long-term benefit. So kind. Feel very strongly that indeed the difficult people, they're so kind. They are the kindest, they're the most kind to me. Just make a very strong conviction. Next, before we move to the altruism, in between, seeing that these beings to whom you love so much, near and dear ones, neutral beings and difficult people, everyone, I love everyone, particularly difficult people and neutral beings. Near and dear ones, this is not special because it's so happening everywhere. But difficult people, neutral people, when you feel your love and affection go towards them, this becomes so special connection. Now that you feel so affection towards them, if you look at the plight of these beings, you see that they are terribly suffering because of self-centered, some grasping ignorance. But this is not their true nature. Their true nature is Buddha nature, where they experience ultimate happiness, fearlessness, but they are not feeling that today. It's because of the two demons there. They're suffering terribly. Because you love them so much, seeing the plight or the pains of these beings, you feel so compassionate. May you be freed from suffering and all the causes of suffering. May you have the maximum happiness and the causes of happiness. Just feel that very strongly compassion first. May you be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. Next, loving kindness. May you have the maximum happiness and the cause of happiness. Step number 8, the altruism. Who will do that to make them be freed from suffering and that they bend out to happiness, ultimate happiness? I will do it. I'll take the responsibility. Wholeheartedly feel that I'll take the responsibility that all beings are freed from suffering and all the beings have the maximum happiness. Bodhicitta wisdom emptiness. Feel that very strongly. How are you going to do that? Yes, as the great Indian master Acharya Dignaga in his text Pramana Samujaya, the Buddha Shakyamuni, one sprint Siddhartha to become Buddha, the manner in which Acharya Dinakar indicated, the one who has transformed into a reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector to human frustrations. Okay, that's amazing. This is how this Prince Siddhartha followed, and today he's able to benefit all the beings. I'll follow his footsteps. Follow footsteps and become enlightened, be endowed with three perfect qualities: perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power, which allows me to show the complete path, just in accordance with the mental propensities, the tendencies, inclinations, proclivities of the sentient beings, so that they so happily, easily, they go about cognitive transformation of the mind from the ignorance to the wisdom, from the self-centered attitude to the bodhicitta, and they become Buddhas. Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. With folded hands, let us make a bodhicitta commitment together. Step 9. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Stay in this experience of bodhicitta for a while. This is the most beautiful mind that possibly exists in the entire universe. And today we've generated this. Wow. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this beautiful mind of bodhicitta into a spotless, clean moon disk, horizontally sitting on the heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. But remember that no matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil comes out. Yes, that's true. I know that. But I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. But if that is the case, why not? That you have become Buddha till now, since time immemorial. Yes, that's true. Till now, I've been deceived by the true demons self-grasping in self-centered. Today, I'm disillusioned by them. I'm going to do everything to exterminate the true demons. What are you going to do? I'm going to employ a very powerful remedy. What is that? The non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Arya Bodhisattvas. What is that like? Let's quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness which we meditated as the third seal is part of 4 seals. Ready? Okay, what are you doing? I'm meditating. Subjecting self the way we did before, subjecting self to ultimate analysis, you end up seeing the 6 elements. Among the 6 elements, where is this self? What is this? Which is this 6 element to be identified as intrinsically one with this self? Nothing, not at all, not any of these. Okay, so if the self is not to be seen as subjectively one with its parts, see if it exists as object different from its parts. Remove all the parts, remove all 6 elements. What is left? Nothing is left there. Okay. Now in also ultimate analysis, what do you see? Where is the self as object real? Nothing is there to be identified as object real. Nothing is there to be identified as self there in the ultimate analysis. It doesn't mean the self doesn't exist. The self doesn't exist in ultimate analysis, which means self doesn't exist objectively. Self does exist subjectively, but the ultimate analysis is only to see if it exists subjectively, not objectively. No, sorry, objectively, not subjectively. So therefore, it sees that self is not there, means self doesn't exist objectively. Stay in this experience where the self dissolves in emptiness. We slowly transform this wisdom of emptiness, the most fearless mind in the universe, into a spotless clean white Vajra, thumb-sized white Vajra, vertically sitting on the Bodhichitta heart. Now you have the non-dual Bodhicittas. Moon is symbolic of the conventional Bodhicitta, to eradicate all the self-centered attitude, the Vajra symbolic ultimate Bodhicitta to eradicate all the mental defilements, afflictive as well as cognitive. This guarantees that you will be freed from all the miseries and experience the ultimate happiness, the Buddhahood. Wow, this is amazing, so precious. I'm so lucky. Meanwhile, let's not forget that your two parents, your children, your family members, all the dear sentient beings are suffering. Generate a very strong compassion for all of them, wishing that all of them be freed from suffering and they bend out to happiness. This experience of compassion and the bodhicitta within you invoke the Vajramoon into heart to multiply infinite number of times. Share one side of the Vajramoon at the heart of your mother, one side with your father, one side with each one of children, with each one of family members, which each of sentient beings here in Tushita Center, each one of beings in India, in the world, in your own country, in the entire universe. Every sentient being in the water, in the oceans, in the forests, everywhere, they get the share of Vajramoon at their hearts. Because of your because of your generosity, it's amazing. Because of love and affection, your compassion. That's amazing. Meanwhile, let's not forget that all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're watching us. They're so happy today. Why not we invite all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be the witness and the guests to undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. As a gesture making request to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, along with all the sentient beings, we slowly stand up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, let us sit on the right knees. Let us turn to page 50. Okay, since that this is the last day for this retreat, I'm going to explain these lines. Just imagine that you are a little girl or a little boy, for the first time in your life, making a public appearance on behalf of your school, and it's quite nervous for you. It's a new experience, and your two parents feel so proud of you. And they leave whatever they have to do that day. They leave that behind to join the audience, to waving their hands to you, to give you the solace, to give you the comfort, to feel that we are there to give moral support. We are there. We are proud of you, waving the hands to you. This is exactly what is happening today. All the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is here, watching us, like the parents, to give us the assurance, to give us the moral support, to give us the appreciation. And you, as the very responsible little boy, little girl, you bring with you all your siblings. You bring with you all the sentient beings as your siblings, encouraging them, inspiring them to practice the Bodhicitta, take the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Okay. With this in mind, we're taking this vow, and the first verse which reads that taking this vow is that, in a way, the vow doesn't mean that you have so many vows, precepts to keep. It's just make the commitment that from today onwards, I'll try my best not to harm others. If possible, I'll try to render
benefit to others, if not, at least I'll not harm others. This much, if you can make the commitment, you have to take this as most Bodhisattva vow. So with this in mind, this journey that I will become Buddha for the benefit of demons and human beings, you are taking this as a commitment. So with this journey is a very important journey which we have never undertook before. And because of this, we require incredibly great support. And the greatest of support that we can think of are the Triple Gem. So the first line says, I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. And this journey, this journey involves a road, and the road, if blocked by the boulders and fallen trees and so forth, again is a great hindrance. This road is none other than only mind. Your mind must not be blocked by the negative karmas and so forth. So how to remove these, how to clear this road of the acute negative karma and so forth is by confessing negativities. Second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clear, but if the car does not have enough fuel, again we cannot undertake the journey. So what is that car? The car is none other than your own mind. Your mind must have enough fuel to undertake the fuel of the virtues and merits to undertake the journey of enlightenment. But the best way to do so is by rejoicing the virtues to yourself, rejoicing the virtues of all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, rejoicing the virtues of all the other beings. The third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. And now the road is clear, the car is enough fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? I'm going to do the journey of Buddhahood. The last line says, I hold the precious Buddhahood in my heart. That's wholeheartedly say this 3 times. Imagine that all beings are also saying the same thing, taking the commitment, and all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. The next 2 verses, the main ceremony, invoking gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to behest to you. And the first verse is related to the Buddhas of the past, those who already attained Buddhahood. And the second verse is related to yourself. The first verse says that in the history of the humanity, who succeeded in this journey to benefit all the beings. If you look at it, you will see, for example, in our era is the Buddha Shakyamuni as the most evident example of somebody who attained enlightenment 2,500 years ago, and that who continuously benefit the beings, and that if our negative karmas are washed away, purified, then the Buddha is still alive. Buddha exists eternally. He never dies. So, the fact that he assumed Mahaparinirvana or the death is because of our positive karma to experience the Buddha's kindness and the benefit of Buddha, that positive karmas they exhaust, and because of which we don't see the Buddha now. Whereas the negative karmas exhaust and positive karma accumulated, again the Buddha will appear to us. So Buddha forever exists. So how come that he succeeded in that? He succeeded in that because of 2 reasons. Initially, he created he created a very strong bodhicitta commitment. May I become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, the first. And second reason was the factor was that to materialize this aspiration to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, he actually engaged in the bodhisattva practices like the 6 perfections and the 4 perfections, making 10: generosity, ethical discipline, patience, enthusiasm, meditative concentration, the wisdom, and the 4, the skillfulness, aspiration prayers, the power, and the primordial wisdom. So engaging these practices, he eventually became the full awakened one to benefit all beings. If this is how he succeeded, the second verse says, I will also follow his footsteps by
the creating these two factors, engaging very strong bodhicitta commitment, and then to materialize the aspiration, are also engaged in bodhisattva practices. Okay, let us say this 3 times, and on the third repetition, when you say the last line, and likewise shall I too successfully in the bodhisattva practices, feel the joy of having received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Let's say this 3 times together. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the amount of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the amount of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Feel the joy of having received this Bodhisattva vow, and like the mother, after all these many years of getting complaint from the school, today's school principal comes, and the mother is so apprehensive. Again, what did my 2 children do? And the school principal is very different today. He said, we came here to congratulate you, not to complain. And the mother couldn't believe why. And the principal said, your daughter and your son, 2 of them, are appointed the best of the students of the school for this year. And the mother could not believe her eyes in years. So happy. This is exactly what is happening to all the Bodhisattvas. They're so proud and happy today to see that all these many lifetimes, they've been always expecting happiness for you, expecting us to engage in the positive karmas. And on the contrary, we always engage in negative karmas, and we continue to suffer. And today, what you did today, the Bodhisattvas, they're so happy and proud. There's pride and happiness over you having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva vow. Invoke the Vajramuni at their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. And all these replicas of Vajramun from the Bodhisattva's heart, they descend to merge with the one that visualizes your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed. Likewise, all the replicas of Vajramun from the house of Bodhisattvas, like rain shower, they descend to merge with the one that visualizes at the heart of mother, at the heart of father, at the heart of each of the dear sentient beings. And that the Vajramun that you have shared with them, they're being the blessed, they become non-dual and stabilized because of the blissful, the Vajramun from the Bodhisattvas. This is amazing. So this, if ever you can think of, if at all you can think of some gift for the sentient beings, this is the greatest gift. If at all you can think of repaying the kindness of your parents, this is the greatest way, this is the best way by which to repay the kindness, and today you did it. And likewise, the Buddha Shakyamuni declared that one moment of practicing compassion far excels the gifts of the whole universe filled with gems, gold, silver, and so forth, that offered to all the Bodhisattvas. If this were to be the case, what is the mention of having taken the aspiration Bodhisattva today? Amazing. You have made such a great offering of all the Bodhisattvas, and today you offered it. It's amazing. And in your life, we see that this is greatest of the meaning, the purpose of life. And many people who already are professors and so forth, rich, powerful, academically so accomplished, when they finally meet with this teaching of Bodhicitta, they see that now I found a new life, so beautiful life. Yes, this is purpose of life, this is meaning of life, and you have given a life, you have given meaning to your life today. And all these wonders are happening because of the kindness of all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thank all these Bodhisattvas, let us slowly stand up with all the sentient beings to make true prostration to them.
Let's turn to page 51. The verse for us to be connected with the same teaching of Bodhicitta wisdom and emptiness, the teaching, the practice in the future lifetimes. Let's all say this prayer 3 times together. Imagine that all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are witness, and your parents, all the demons sent with you. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided with the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta safe in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided with the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta safe in the course of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided with the compassion Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicitta safe in the course of my life. Now, to be not only to be connected with the Dhamma of these two teachings, but also to rigorously engage in these practices, we require to invoke the word create imprints of joy associated with these teachings. So, for that matter, we'll recite the verses from Bodhisattva Shantidev's text. In order to further increase this Bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened the mind of the Bodhicitta in this way should highly praise in this. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born. And thus, whatever action I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall I disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence, an awakened mind has been born within me. It is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereign death. It is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. It is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. It is a tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. It is a universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. It is the dawning moon of the mind that expels the torment of disturbing conceptions. It is a great sun that finally removes the mystic ignorance of the world. It is a quintessential butter from the churn of the milk of Dharma. For all those guys traveling on the path of conditioned existence, who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy, and it shall place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporary and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Direction prayer. Let's dedicate the merits that is scattered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness, that he lives long, that he has good health, lives long, and that he continues to bless all the sentient beings with wisdom, with compassion, that the world leaders will become more sensible, to embrace each other rather than to push each other in wars and so forth, so that all the citizens of the world can take a fresh breath of the peace, happiness, and the relief. And may the teaching of the Bodhicitta wisdom and emptiness thrive in every nook and corner of the whole universe. Everyone learns how to get rid of the mental defilements so that the Buddha nature within them, the treasure of happiness within them, becomes manifest. With this mind, let's turn to page 52. Our dedicated matters thus gathered to try to realize these entities in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times, and to the upholding of the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, Bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast as space that have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds customized planted with ignorance. Tiyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata
Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. Three brushes together.